Okay, the wait is finally over. The new iPad Pros are coming out because Apple just announced their next event, Let Loose, which is going to take place on May 7th. That's a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Or if you're in the East Coast like me, the best coast, that's going to be at 10 a.m. So mark your calendars because we are getting new iPad Pros. It's basically confirmed because look at this event invite. That is the most blatant Apple event invite I have ever seen. You can literally see the Apple Pencil right in the event invite. That means new iPads are definitely coming. Apple even has this really nice animation on their website if you go to it where the Apple Pencil kind of swirls and then kind of like jots down on the Apple logo. It's really cool. But yeah, basically with the Apple Pencil being in the event invite, I mean, you could put two and two together. Some new iPad is coming out, and thankfully, we have a pretty good idea of what iPads are coming out, and basically everything new that's going to be inside of them. We have a really large amount of concrete leaks regarding this one. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into what's going to be at this event, and let's start with the showstopper, the new iPad Pro. It has been so long since Apple has updated the iPad Pro. It's been their longest time ever going between iPad Pro refreshes, so there should be a lot new here, and thankfully, it looks like there is, starting with a brand new design. This is going to be not only the thinnest iPad ever, it is going to be the thinnest Apple product in history. Apple is rumored to be releasing these new iPad Pros. The 12.9-inch version is going to be 5 millimeters thin, and the 11-inch version is going to be 5.1 millimeters thin. That is just insane. I know there's kind of been like a little controversy with previous Apple products bending, like even like current iPad Pros can bend. But if this new thinness is true, like I'm even a little bit worried for that. It's like, is that a good idea? But yeah, a really thin iPad Pro, it's probably gonna feel amazing in the hands, especially if it's paired with a little bit of weight reduction as well. And yeah, that new design, not only is it going to be thinner, it's also going to come with drastically reduced bezels around the display. So we are probably also going to see an increase in the actual screen sizes on the iPad Pro. Now, it's not going to be a lot, right? Like the current iPad Pros don't really have big bezels, but rumors are saying that the 11-inch might move up to an 11.1-inch, and then the 12.9-inch might just move up to a full 13-inch display, which is really nice. Speaking of the display, this is probably the big showstopper, the main reason why people are going to be upgrading to the new iPad Pro, and that's because Apple will be adopting OLED displays for the iPad Pro for the first time ever. The current 11-inch iPad Pro ships with just a standard LCD display. It's been needing an update for quite some time now. The 12.9-inch fares a little bit better. It has a mini LED display. It actually looks really, really nice, but it still has some downsides because it's using like mini LED display technology, particularly with like blooming and stuff like that. Like you can notice that sometimes like on a dark background. This time with OLED though, we are getting, the superior display technology. We are gonna get dark, deep, inky black levels, really good contrast ratios, a bright and vivid display. These iPad Pros are rumored to kind of be using like a dual OLED kind of process, so Apple can actually make the screen really bright while minimizing burn-in on an OLED display, which is really important on such a big display like the iPad Pro, and especially when you're dealing with OLED, which is prone to burn-in. And then on top of all that, you're going to get that Pro Motion display as well. Obviously, we've already seen this on OLED displays on the iPhone, Pro models. But yeah, the OLED display on this sounds like it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I think that's going to be a really big reason why people are upgrading to this new iPad Pro. And the reason why I'm the most excited for like these new OLED displays is that it's going to be on both models, right? It's going to be on the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. And previously, to get that mini LED display, you had to step up to the 12.9-inch. That's the iPad Pro that I've been using for a while. I always felt it was just a little too big, but I've been using it because I really liked that display technology. So now that I can get an OLED display in the 11-inch model, I'm thinking I'm probably going to downgrade in screen size. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what the display looks like. I think it's going to be absolutely insane. Of course, another main update coming to this iPad Pro is the chip itself. So when the iPad Pro last launched, it came with an M2 chip. And now we have the new M3 chip. So that's pretty much like a given coming for the update for the iPad Pro. So M3 chip, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to include ray tracing on device, which, it might sound like, oh, why does an iPad Pro need that? But, iPads can be used for professional applications. And then also when you look at like the gaming landscape, we've actually had some AAA level titles drop for iPad now. You can play Resident Evil 4 Remake on the iPad Pro, Death Stranding, Resident Evil Village. So, having a more graphically powerful M3 chip will actually be really nice on the iPad Pro. Again, pair it together with that OLED display, maybe do some light gaming on that. I think that's actually gonna be a really cool use case. And then, just going through Final Cuts now on iPad Pro, you have Logic, you have Affinity Photo, Photoshop, right? There's powerful applications that can take advantage of that M3 chip. So bringing that, with, like Apple's Stage Manager feature, pairing that to a monitor, maybe because it has the M3 chip now, maybe it'll support dual monitors, kind of like the new MacBook Air and the updated M3 MacBook Pro can do now. So that'll be interesting to see if Apple adopts that as well. Now, there are some other small updates that are supposedly making their way to the iPad Pro. It is rumored that Apple is finally going to shift the camera orientation. So right now it's currently in portrait mode. When Apple released that new standard iPad, they switched it to landscape, but the iPad Pro still had it in portrait orientation. This time it is rumored that yes, the camera's gonna be moved to landscape orientation. So I think most people at this point, especially with like the bigger 12.9-inch iPad Pro, they usually use it in landscape mode, not portrait mode. So when you're taking like a video call, when you have it propped up on like the Magic Keyboard, that camera is just gonna sit in a more natural orientation. Speaking of keyboard cases, that's actually one of the bigger rumors about this next iPad Pro, and that is that Apple is going to be changing that keyboard case design. I think they've been shipping the same Magic Keyboard since 2020. They haven't really updated it majorly since then, but this time they are going to adopt a whole new design apparently, and one of the rumors is that this Magic Keyboard is going to ship with like an aluminum material, which is going to make it more MacBook-like. I'm kind of curious to see what that looks like, how that works. Is there something more to that kind of keyboard case design that really needs like a metal design? Like, is Apple going to put like maybe a battery in there to extend the life of the iPad Pro when you have it docked to the keyboard? Something like that would be really interesting. Are they going to make it more MacBook-like? Is there any chance that macOS could be, running on the iPad Pro with an M3 chip? Could you like dual boot into macOS and iPadOS? There's like a lot of open questions around that. But that's just kind of speculation. I don't really think they're gonna allow macOS on iPad Pro, but who knows? But basically expect a Magic Keyboard case that kind of has like more of a MacBook-esque design to it, maybe more of a hybrid look and approach to it. And maybe that would actually help iPad sales, considering just how popular the new M series MacBooks are. It kind of stole the thunder away from the iPads when you notice that, right? Like whenever Apple Silicon Macs came out, if you've kind of noticed, the iPad's been on like a downward trend. So maybe if Apple makes the iPads in design language a little more MacBook-like, maybe bring some more features over in the next version of iPadOS to make it a little more Mac-like, make it more of a hybrid operating system. Maybe they can actually increase iPad sales, which have been kind of stagnated or actually declining for quite a while now. Also, a new Apple Pencil. And I think, this is kind of even more of a given now with the event invite actually including an Apple Pencil in it. This new Apple Pencil could feature the Find My ability. So if you lose it, you would be able to kind of track it down with your iPad or your iPhone. And it's also rumored to have magnetic swappable tips. So you could actually not only replace the tips a little more easier, but apparently Apple's going to introduce different styles of tips that kind of just feel different when you're using them on the iPad Pro. I've recently been trying to use my iPad mini as kind of like a journal. So and it's a little glossy, the screen, so it's kind of slippery. So if they can make like a pencil tip that maybe had like a little more friction when writing on the screen to make it feel more like pen and paper, I actually think that would be a really good idea, and I would definitely be interested in getting something like that. So those are pretty much all the new updates to the iPad Pro. It's probably the biggest update to the iPad Pro since the introduction of the 2018 iPad Pro, which gave us that whole new design. So this is going to be a pretty exciting release. I think it's actually going to drive a significant amount of iPad Pro sales, unless this next rumor turns out to be true, which I really hope it's not, and that is the starting price point. Apparently these OLED display components are really expensive, and there's rumors that the 11-inch iPad Pro is going to start at $1,500. That's like the same starting price as a MacBook Pro, and I think that's quite frankly a little ridiculous. Like the only way I can see them really bumping up that starting price point is if they gave it a lot more storage, maybe even more memory on the starting configuration. But yeah, $1,500 starting for an 11-inch iPad Pro, I don't know. I don't think I'd buy it. Okay, I buy it, but still, it's ridiculous. I really hope that's not true. But that's not the only iPad we can expect an update for. Apple is also working on updates to the new iPad Air, and this update, in a way, is a little less exciting, but there's one aspect of it that I'm actually really excited about. Now, for the updates for the iPad Air, it's not going to be a major redesign like the iPad Pro. I think maybe we'd get like the landscape orientation camera coming to the iPad Air, but basically it's going to move up from the M1 chip to the M2 chip, so it's not even going to have the latest M3 chip. The 11-inch version, or the 10.9-inch version, is still going to have like a regular LCD display, so nothing crazy there. Maybe ProMotion, if you know, some of these next rumors turn out to be true. And, you know, maybe some new colors or something like that to the design. I'm sure it would actually support that new Magic Keyboard design that's coming to the iPad Pro. But other than that, no major updates really for the iPad Air from, like, you know, at least compared to this iPad Pro. But there is apparently a new size for the iPad Air. And for the first time ever, it's going to now come in that bigger 12.9-inch version. So that's cool on its own. But the thing that got me really interested in this rumor is that basically, current rumors are saying that the new 12.9-inch iPad Air is going to use the same mini LED display technology as the current iPad Pro. So if they can get the pricing right on that, like if they can get that below $1,000, hopefully closer to something like $800, $900 for a 12.9-inch iPad Air with ProMotion, with the mini LED display. It's still a great looking display, honestly. I think that would probably be like a really killer value. Like that might be the secret steal in iPad updates if these things turn out to be true, because otherwise, if it's just a big 12.9-inch iPad Air with a 60 hertz display and it's still expensive, I'm kind of going, well, what's the point here? And maybe they're introducing this bigger 12.9-inch iPad Air because those rumors about the iPad Pro price increases are true and they need to get something cheaper in that lineup with like a bigger display. So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going, I'm a little worried about the price increases on that iPad Pro. Updates to other iPads like the iPad mini or the standard iPad are not rumored for this event. I know the iPad mini hasn't been updated in forever, but unfortunately, there are no rumors about it being updated until the end of this year. So if you were excited about a new iPad mini, apparently it is not coming at this event. But yeah, those are all the rumors for Apple's Let Loose everyone, May 7th event. If you like this video, if you found it informative, please give me a like. Let me know what you think about these rumors for the new iPad Pros and the new iPad Airs. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Give me a subscription if you liked it, and I'll see you all in the next video. I mean, I'll see you very soon for all this event coverage on May 7th. We got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do, Apple. A lot of work. Stop dropping these event invites when, out of nowhere. I didn't even know this was coming, okay? Got to give Greg a little more time. He's not good off the cuff. He's not good on his feet, you know? He needs a little preparation. He needs time to write a script. The viewers of this video know it was a little bad.